Man, it's loud out here. Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Glassman's world. So check it out. I wanted to share with you guys how to deal with these crazy plants here. So these are goat heads right here. I don't know if you've ever dealt with them. These things, these birds right here, right now they're green and they're soft, sort of. They're still pretty spiky, but you definitely want to use gloves to handle them, that's for sure. And you don't want these things to grow any further than this. This is pretty big right here. It's a huge mature goat head. Let me show you the difference between a baby one. That right there, that's a little baby goat head. This little baby thing right there. So that's a baby goat head, right? But we got this big old thing right here. And as you can see, it looks like it covers like a lot of the ground. But if you follow this all the way down, it goes all the way to the center. So the best way that I do is get your gloves, right? And oh, look at this. See these right here? These are dried up goat heads that are coming off. So if you don't catch this before they dry up, they start to fall off. And then look at that. They break up. Those big old heads then break up into little tiny things. These little tiny burrs, and these is what's known as the goat head because, let's see if I can get it, it looks like a goat's head, as you can see, right? So we call these things goat heads. Now I heard that they have a medicinal thing, something about either helping to up your testosterone or to regulate your testosterone. You're supposed to be able to make a tea out of this plant. I don't know anything more than that, but see that's a baby. This one's super mature. So if you sit here all day, you can pull the babies out by the root, right? But that ain't gonna do anything for the full ground coverage. So the best thing that I suggest is to allow the plant to grow pretty full and mature so you can get the whole thing up and out and not allow all them birds to get everywhere. Now you see I didn't get the whole thing. So let's see if I can get this whole root and everything here. Oh, didn't get it. All right. Let's see if I can do it with my right hand. Okay, there it goes. We got most of it. There's still a bit of the root under there. But the thing is you really don't want to allow those burrs to fall down and then get all over the place. And then the only thing that you can really do is either pick them up individually by hand like this, or I got a cool trick where you can get one of them pool noodles and you can basically roll a pool noodle over your yard. And you can pull these up real fast. You can get all the goat heads up, and then you just wipe them into a trash bag, a trash can, and get rid of them. You can put them in a fire pit and burn them away. Because if you toss them and throw them, then all you're doing is you're just allowing them to go to another location where they can then take seed there. So as you can see, if you try to eradicate these little baby plants here, they take a really long time to have to do this all by yourself. Oh, sorry, on your all at once, like little babies all at one time. But if you're dealing with the bigger ones, like this one here, those ones are a little bit easier to deal with. And then look at that, you got a big one over there. See how that one's crawling through? Look at this. So let's see if we can show you how big these things get here. So Look at this. Look at how wide this one is. Look at that. And see, it looks like it's taking up this whole area right here, but that is pretty much just one plant. I'm gonna go under here. So what I do is I put my hand under like this, right? So then I can find where, see how it all collects right there? So then I can grab that whole thing all at once and then try to just pull it up. Ah, dang, these things are really rooted. And what I'm gonna have to do probably is go in and get my my weeding tool. So look, that's all one. And then you see there's more connected right there. So once you start pulling these up, there, that one got up. What I do is I just slowly start rolling them. So you see how they're kind of like all matted together. So you just go underneath and you figure out where the next plant is. You pull that one out, right? And then roll it over and you're like, oh, still connected here. So then you can pull those out, still connected there. So you can pull those and you just keep rolling it onto itself like that to get rid of it. And then you see you're still all these little babies here. So we'll have to go in and eradicate all these so then they don't really get deeply rooted. But you can see how easy those just come up and out. And you know, a lot of the baby plants are super potent, so I wonder if these seedlings would actually be the more potent part of the plant for making tea. You know, baby goat head leaves for the testosterone tea. And that's the thing, is I gotta go back and watch and see, is it for regulating or is it for bringing up testosterone levels, or is it just for maintaining and regulating? But that's the only thing that I've ever heard about these plants and how they might be beneficial. But as you can see, I sit here and I just pull all this out by hand. And that's why I get paid 20 to 30 bucks an hour, because this is some crazy tedious work here. But this is what gets the job done. I'll have to come back and get this thing out right here, so we'll just make sure I can find that easy. And then these are foxtails, and you really want to grab those before they dry, because if you allow them to dry out too much, when you grab them, sometimes they'll try to seed themselves, and then you got to deal with eradicating them. So this yard, it got a little bit out of control, and I know this area right here was allowed to overgrow during last winter, and so now we got to deal with a lot of these new babies coming up. But you can see, you just go in and see, you get it up by the root, especially when they're this size. This is a really good size right here, you know, because then you can actually get them by the roots. They're not grabbing. It's not, you know, it's not very hard to pull them. They just come right up, especially when they're little tiny ones like this. So those are a couple tips and tricks on eradicating the goat heads. Making sure you're not spreading the seed. Don't allow it to dry. You never want to allow them to dry out. That's for sure, because then they just seed themselves. So don't delay. Make sure you get me to your yard or someone else to help you out with eradicating these before they dry out. There's a lot of people too who they'll spray their yards, and they think that helps. They're like, oh, I wanted to basically help by taking out, you know, drying out the weeds first to help you with removing them and pulling them. I'm like, no, actually when they're greener, they're stronger, so they don't break away from the root themselves. And this is the easiest way to get them up by the root, is when they're green. So don't delay. Make sure you get someone out in your yard to clear out all the goat heads, you know, get rid of all these by the root, and And then you don't have to deal with them, especially if you catch them before they have any seeded birds at all. If you catch them before they're seeding, then this is the best way and the best time to eradicate these and get them out of this area. So there's a couple that are starting to seed, but they're also green, and so those shouldn't take root. They shouldn't grow. Okay, now let me show you the difference here. So we have goat heads, right? And right next to the goat head is spurge. And this spurge grows up pretty big. It looks very similar. See, this is a goat head. It's got pointy. And then this is the spurge where it's rounded, kind of oval. And the spurge also has a red stem work going through it, whereas the goat heads are more yellow or green. So that's the difference there in dealing with goat heads and dealing with spurge. They look very similar. A lot of people are like, oh, I got a bunch of goat heads out there, and all it is spurge. And chickens will eat spurge if you got chickens. They love that. I'm gonna probably let you guys go now. There's not much more I can share. I'm just gonna clear this area out. Look at all this spurge right here. So that's all spurge, and that spurge comes up just as easy, see, by the root like that. So as long as you get in here and don't allow the plants to dry out, they will come up with ease, and you can basically eradicate them. You just got to get them before they start to grow that seed, because once you start pulling them when they're seeded and when they're dried up, those seeds will just fall. That's the thing. So the best bet is to do it at this point when they are this young. They're just young little seedlings, barely growing still, and that's about it. All right, and then this is some mustard green or something like that, and we'll pull that up too, just by the roots. And this is a pretty easy yard here with it being rock, and there isn't much for it to really take root to. So sometimes these weeds are a little bit more stubborn, but as you can see, we just cleared out that whole section right there. All right, I'm going to continue working. I'm going to let you guys go. We're going to continue following all kinds of different things with the current events and news. I will have my glass blowing studio up and running again very soon, guys, so look out for that. It is Monday. I might do Music Mondays today. It's been a long time since I've done Music Mondays, so I might do a Music Monday later on today. So make sure you hit that subscribe button and hit the notification bell so you can get notified. Also, just know that if your phone's been updated recently, go back into your settings and go to notifications and make sure that you are receiving notifications from all of your social media apps, because recently we learned that there was a reset on the phones, and a lot of the apps have shut down the notifications automatically, so you're no longer getting any of our notifications here at YouTube or anywhere else. So make sure that you change your settings there in your phone, and yeah, we'll see you guys soon. Have a beautiful day. Talk to you guys in a little while.